it's almost closing time. However, I didn't think it was going to get busy in the afternoon, and I forgot to film an intro, and we don't want to disappoint Dave, so we're going to film the intro right now. Hey guys, Joe here, bright and early at the store.
That's a lie, straight lie.
Anticipating not a lot of traffic today due to the holiday, but we'll see how things go. I'm gonna put some restock on the shelf, kind of do a bit of organizing while I wait for people to show up. So we'll see how today goes. Okay guys, so just pulling some of the client orders here. So we'll quickly go through. Guy, one of our regulars, is looking for this Dreamcast fishing controller, which we just got in last week. Complete, really nice condition. Don't think we've ever had a complete one, so sent a photo of that off to Guy, and we'll see if he picks it up. Highly recommend he does, because I've never seen one complete before. So happy to have that here, and hopefully he goes for it. Next, we've got someone looking for Star Fox Adventures, and they specifically wanted a complete copy. These are both complete. I actually find with that game, it's one of the games that's missing the manual the most often. So not sure if you needed the manual for that game or if people just really played it, but typically when we get that one, it's not complete. Next up, we've got F-Zero GX, great racing game. Not sure why Nintendo doesn't make more of those. I think there's an appetite for it, clearly by the price of the GameCube version. And then we've got Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know how you say that. We'll figure it out on the PS4. And then finally, we've got a customer who wasn't able to make it to the outdoor sale, but saw that we had some bundles left. So they're going to pick up this Wii bundle with these games here. And then also this nice PS3 bundle. So great starter set. So $100 for that. And it comes with all of these RPG type games. So I think he'll be really happy with those two bundles, and so he should be coming by later. So one of our poll questions we often get, guys, are what are some of the more rare and obscure stuff you have in the store or have had in the store? So what I did is I just went around to the shelf and pulled a few things that I kind of thought would be interesting to talk about. So let's take a look at what I found. And so starting off, we've got Burning Rangers for the Saturn. Mint pristine copy here. One of the quote-unquote heavies for the system. And then we've got Persona, the remake, 2-disc soundtrack edition for the PSP. Again, very hard to find in this type of condition with all of the contents inside. A pristine copy of Bomberman 2 for the NES. Great game. Better than the first one in my opinion, and you could actually play up to 3 players. Not sure why they didn't include 4-player support, but you could do 3. And then we've got Breach and Clear Sealed for the Vita. So this was the first release by Limited Run Games. So kind of cool to have that, basically like a limited run #1 type thing. Onikin and Odalis collection for the Switch. So Odalis is kind of like a Castlevania style game, and Onikin is more like Ninja Gaiden. So kind of 16-bit retro inspired newer indie titles. Really cool collection. And then here we've got Robot Alchemic Drive, or RAD. Way cooler name to call it RAD. So someone from the marketing department was on point there. Kind of like a mech tactical RPG by Enix. Again, not a lot of copies of this were made. I don't think it sold well. It's supposed to be a pretty good game. I had a customer actually ask me about it today, which made me think to pull it. Journey to the Promised Land Exodus for play on the Sega Genesis, and they are promising 16-bit entertainment. And it is also sealed. So one of those quirky Bible games, mostly known for being on the NES, but I guess the Genesis also took part in the weird Bible games. Just a few things I thought I'd point out, guys. It was kind of fun to go through the store, not that busy, and just highlight a few of the obscure random things we have here.
We also had a few trade-ins last week during the outdoor sale, a pretty decent sized collection that we weren't able to go through. So this was one of 2 buys today, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't think we're gonna get to this until the next video. So Joe took that home with him, and he'll probably be putting it in the store next week.
Hey guys, so we are in the basement, and we are quickly going to go through a big lot we purchased during the outdoor sale. So too busy to process this while we were dealing with how busy it was at the sale. Shout out to Etienne, who drove from Petawawa to sell us this beautiful lot here. Quickly go over what came in. Starting at the top, Guitar Hero 2 in the box. Don't have the game, however, I'm pretty sure I have a game in storage. The guitar is mint. Tested it myself, aced a song on medium because that's the extent of my Guitar Hero skills. And then as you see here, some nice Wii and GameCube, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Wind Waker, a few 360 games mixed in there. And then a nice boxed Wii. So this is complete. Everything shown on the box is there. So this is the black Wii, Wii Motion Plus, Wii Sports, Wii Resort bundle. So very rare to find one of those in nice condition and complete. And then we got a nice original Game Boy Advance with Sonic Advance 2, DS game there, Silver Surfer, memory card for the GameCube, and these nice strategy guides for Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2. A lot of people crap on 13. I actually really enjoyed that game. 13-2 I have not had the chance to play. However, I really liked 13. I highly recommend that game. Some PS4 games. So lots of nice PS4, Crash Trilogy, a couple of Final Fantasies. The 2 Knack games, don't see Knack 2 that often. Resident Evil 6, Spyro, South Park, Star Wars. Lots of great titles there. Wolfenstein hiding at the bottom. A couple of aftermarket GameCube controllers. Tested these. These work really well. And they're kind of see-through purple, blue, and green. So really cool to get those. And then a couple of accessories here. Camera for the PS3. And some Wii accessories. And over here, nice boxed PS4 console, excellent condition. Always nice to get good condition PS4s in. And then this Modern Warfare 360 with both the controllers. Again, tested this, it worked really well. Really cool piece for a 360 collector. And then moving up here, we've got the extra PS4 controller. And then lots of nice PS3 games here. Demon Souls, Eternal Sonata. There's my Final Fantasy 13. Haven't played Lightning Returns either. Not sure about that one, but would love to give that a try someday. A couple of little Big Planets, Sonic Unleashed, and a couple of Tom Clancy games hiding at the bottom there. Nice PS3 Slim. Again, very clean. Worked very well when I tested it. And 3 controllers. So overall, really happy to get this nice lot in. Okay, and for the rest of these trades from Outdoor Sale Day, we had another vendor at the flea market come to us with this GBA SP lot. Nice case here, it's got the branding on it, holds the system, and it's got slots for all the games. So really cool case to get. And then there were a few games here, nothing too crazy. A few of the Mario Advance games, always good to get those. A red SP. Volume is a bit wonky on that, so we'll probably get that repaired before we put it in the store, but nonetheless, nice to get a GBA SP in. And then we had another person come and sell us these. So Back to the Future 2 and 3, and then the first Back to the Future. So good to get those in. There's always a market for pop culture type games, even if people don't want to play those, because those games aren't the best. Stuff like Back to the Future, Top Gun, Ghostbusters, stuff like that always sells well regardless of the quality of the game. Okay guys, it's about an hour before close. Just going to go over the trades that we got in today with the funky music in the background. So we got an Xbox One system in with a few games here, some PS3 games, and a few accessories. So actually happy to get this Xbox wireless dongle in. Don't get a lot of those. And an original Xbox controller. A little dirty, but we'll give that a clean before we put it on the shelf. Some jumper packs for the 64. 360 controller, always need those. Extra cables for an original Xbox. A couple of OEM NES AV cables. Actually short on those, so I was actually pretty happy to get this stuff in, even though it's not the most glamorous. An extra controller for the Xbox One. And a nice Aqua 3DS. That's the original released. I actually don't have one of those, so happy to get one of those for the shelf. And Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. Great game. Actually makes really good use of the 3D. So not a lot of crazy trades today, but overall happy with what came in given how not busy it was due to Thanksgiving. Okay guys, so we were about to close and then we got this giant collection behind me here. We had this deal pre-done luckily, and they just showed up later in the day. So lots of 360, lots of good PS2, Lots of good PS1, Final Fantasy Tactics, bunch of Crash Bandicoot games. More stuff down here and over here. We got some Genesis, some more PS1. Got lots of gray carts here, some nice stuff there. Boom. Final Fantasy 3, nice. Donkey Kong, Aladdin, FF2. And then we got a bin full of systems and games and controllers here. Great lot. We're going to take this home. It's Thanksgiving, so we're going to be nice to Dave and bring this home and not leave it here for him to deal with next week. And we'll get it in the following week. Hey guys, so we have finally gotten that collection out. I've processed it, I've tested everything. Luckily, the majority of the stuff works really well. A couple of things we'll have Peter take a look at. Lots of great stuff back here. I'm excited to go through what we picked up. Okay guys, so here is the view of the collection. Starting off, nice complete copy of Mario 64. Always good to get CIB 64 in. And then going down, a couple of PSPs. Lots of amazing PS2 games. Pretty much all the Crash games for the PS2. See, Ninja, that's kind of an obscure platformer. And then going down, a couple of Pac-Man worlds. Bunch of Ratchet and Clanks. Those sell very well for us, so happy to get those. Sphinx, which is a nice little 3D platformer. A couple of Sly Cooper games. I actually don't think we have Sly 1 or 2 right now, so happy to get those. Sonic Heroes. A couple of SpongeBob games. A couple of Transformers games, all great stuff. Some Super Nintendo games, Aladdin, Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario World, and Zelda alphabetized properly. I don't care what anyone says. I put my Zelda games at the end under Z for Zelda and not under L for Legend of Zelda. And now we've got PS4 games here and some PS3. God of War Saga is a nice one to get. Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, Journey, that's a great game. Couple of obscure RPGs here, Mugen Souls, Time and Eternity down below there, Persona, White Knight Chronicles, and some Xbox One games. Always good to fill out the Xbox One section. And then moving up here, we've got the limited edition Assassin's Creed, so neat to get that in. Again, it takes up a lot of space, but I think Assassin's Creed collectors will find that interesting, so happy to get that for the store. Some 360 titles here, 007 Legends, your Assassin's Creed titles. Nothing too crazy here. Castlevania is a good one. The Command & Conquer games sell well for us too. Capcom Digital Collection, actually, that one's cool. That's got the arcade port of Final Fight on it, so that's a neat one. Death Smiles, which is a really cool shoot 'em up, and some more games down here. Actually happy to get Fable 2. Noticed we didn't have any copies in our storage unit, and we had a customer try and buy that game a few weeks ago, and unfortunately the case was empty, so someone stole our last copy of Fable 2, so happy to get another one in. Halo 3 missile box set, so again, that's a large item. We'll have to really underprice that one to move it quickly. And then moving down, more 360. Few Left 4 Dead games. Those are selling really well. A lot of people like those for the multiplayer. Mortal Kombat, Mass Effect. Ninja Blade, which is a cool one from Software. Orange Box. Not sure how to say this one. Automedus. Excellent. That it's inspired by Gradius. It's a cool 2D shooter as well. Portal 2, Persona. Lots more 360. So if you watched our outdoor sale video, you'll remember we sold a ton of 360. So it's getting really popular lately. So a lot of these will either be in store or saved for the next outdoor sale so that we can have a healthy 360 stock for the next sale we do in the spring. Again, lots of nice titles here. And then OG Xbox Digimon World 4 is kind of the highlight there. And then over here, we've got a few Genesis games. Evil Dead for the Dreamcast. Pretty much all the Crash games for the PS1. Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy Tactics, Spyro, Legend of Dragoon, can't go wrong with Legend of Dragoon. And then a few NES games here, and then some Switch games. So Sonic Mania, Mario Rabbids, Civilization, Bomberman, Snipper Clippers, and Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U. A couple of complete Sonic games for the Genesis, and then a few more OG Xbox games down below. And then these are the consoles that came with it. So nice clean Super Nintendo. Always good to get a Super Nintendo when we've had trouble keeping them in stock because it's so popular. The 64, the mighty Genesis does. And then we got some Genesis games here. No end labels on these guys for some reason. So, and then some nice 64 games. You've got your Star Fox and your 2 Zeldas. Nice expansion pack that was in the 64. And a bunch of Game Gear titles. So always nice to get a few loose Game Gear games in. And then a classic controller for the Wii. And a PS1 controller, green. And a DualShock 2 for the PS2. Whoever had this must have replaced the thumbsticks. I've never seen one of these come with gray thumbsticks. Tested it, works great, so we'll throw it out on the shelf and see if anyone bites. And then 2 of my favorite games of all time, Final Fantasy II and Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo. And then we got the limited edition, either Dan S or Dan D version. I don't know, Dan, if your parents got divorced halfway through and you had to change your last name or something, but thanks for letting everyone know that this was your copy of Beauty and the Beast. And then to round everything out, we got some Disney Infinity characters. So some classic characters there. And overall, just really happy to get this collection in. So we'll get this processed and into the store ASAP. So just wanted to kind of take the time to recap the day. So we were about to film a recap outro at the store, and then a large collection showed up. So we kind of had to deal with that. I almost want to call it the best worst day ever. So it was very dead in the morning, and then it slowly got steadier and steadier to the point where there was pretty much always someone in the store. We had a few small trades come in, nothing crazy. No crazy sales, but again, it was just very steady, and it ended up being a pretty good day, capped up by the huge pickup at the end of the day. So one thing I wanted to highlight is we had someone come in, they were looking for a PS2, their PS2 had stopped working. I was able to sell them just the console only, and then I came up with the solution for them. You know, your controller still works, your cables probably still work, you've got a memory card, so we were able to knock some a few bucks off of the system and just sell them the base console. So I had another collector come in, not really a collector, like a new collector, new to collecting Super Nintendo games, and really wanted a few games to play multiplayer with some friends over the long weekend. So they picked up NBA Jam and NHL 94, 2 excellent sports games to play multiplayer, and then he grabbed a copy of UN Squadron, which is an awesome shooter, 2-player co-op. Was happy he was able to find a few games he was looking for to play with his friends over the weekend. Because we don't sell a lot of original Xbox, and you'll hear me talk about how I think people sleep on the Sega Genesis. I also think people sleep on the OG Xbox. Typically, if a game was released for all 3 platforms in the Xbox, PS2, GameCube generation, the OG Xbox 9 times out of 10 is going to be the better looking, better running version. So I'm surprised we don't sell a lot of Xbox. And there's also some really cool exclusives. So this person, they were looking for these games for quite a while and found both in the store. Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. So they were able to grab both the KOTOR games, as the cool kids call them. And then it was funny because there was another client in the store talking about, oh, like, I love playing those games. They're so fun. Like, you're going to really enjoy them. So it's cool to hear the customers kind of interact with each other and kind of geek out together over the Star Wars games on the OG Xbox. This next one's kind of a funny one. So had someone come in looking for Super Nintendo games, again, newer to collecting. They were looking at Yoshi's Island and Donkey Kong Country 2. Both great games, can't go wrong with either one. They were trying to send an e-transfer, and what happened was there's the signal in our building's really bad. So what I typically tell people is, go out the back door, get your signal, send your e-transfer, come back in. And so I told him to step outside and go get a signal and send the transfer. And I think he heard it as, do you want to step outside? And thought I wanted to fight him. So I was kind of like, no, man, no, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to sell games. It was funny. The whole thing lasted like 20 seconds. I just thought it was funny that he thought it would escalate from me trying to sell him something to wanting to fight him for buying something from me, which definitely not the case. I'm a lover, not a fighter, as everybody knows. So
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Just thought that was funny. Hope he's enjoying playing Donkey Kong Country 2, and that he comes back for Yoshi's Island, and that he does not think that I want to fight him next time he comes to the store. Dan and Mel, 2 of our favorite clients, they came by. Always happy to hear Dan's voice, because one drawback of working the store by yourself is that you can't really go for a bathroom break while there's people in the store. You don't want to kick people out and interrupt their browsing. And you don't want to leave the store unattended for obvious reasons. So as soon as I heard Dan can basically run the store by himself. He's basically an extra employee at this point. He's such a loyal customer and knows how everything runs in the store. So I was able to shoot out quickly for a bathroom break, get back in, and keep going. So thank you to Dan and Mel for stopping by. Always good to see you guys. Appreciate the bathroom breaks 110%. Then another one I want to highlight is we had a gentleman who noticed we had leftover bundles from our outdoor sale. So he came and picked up the Wii bundle and the PS3 bundle. It seemed to be gifts for some family members. So happy he was able to grab those. And then he ended up grabbing a bunch of extra stuff for the Wii. Mario Party 8, Mario Kart, extra remotes, nunchucks. So he left with a pile of stuff, and I'm hoping whoever he gifts these to is really happy with them. And then the last kind of sale I wanted to highlight, Shane, one of our regulars, he came in, bought a couple of games for his Dreamcast. He's been picking up a lot of Dreamcast lately. Another one of those sleeper systems that doesn't do as well as it should for us, so he picked up a couple of games to help fill out that collection. So always happy to help Shane find what he's looking for. I think there's going to be something in the collection I just filmed that he's going to want, so we'll see. I'm calling it here though. Obviously, after all those sales, it was kind of slower, and then a person who we had agreed on a deal ahead of time for this collection, which was amazing. So he showed up at 4:45 and he was kind of like, I understand if it's too late and you have to go. And I said, no, you know what? We've already got the deal done. So let's just look through everything. So just wanted to highlight some of the items that came in the collection, because I know when you just see a giant photo of games, you know, there's a few hundred games there, like things can get overlooked. And I wanted to highlight a few things. So we'll start off this Game Gear game here, Revenge of Drancon. So I had never heard of this game, and there's like a volcano on the cover. It's actually just Wonder Boy, so like Adventure Island. So I'm not sure why they tried to rebrand it for the Game Gear. Very interesting marketing choice there. You'd think they'd just use the Wonder Boy name or Adventure Island, which people actually knew. Another Game Gear title I wanted to highlight, this guy here, Crystal Warriors. I've just never seen that one before, and it appears to be kind of like a Fire Emblem, Shining Force, tactical strategy RPG. And it's got permadeath apparently, and it's kind of like looks like a lower budget Fire Emblem, but apparently a really good game. Sonic Mania for the Switch. As you all know, if you watched our Ask Me Anything video, Dave doesn't like Sonic the Hedgehog, so number one, we can't really trust Dave.
Really?
But number two, I mentioned that he should try Sonic Mania. This game was made by someone who had done kind of like a fan version of Sonic. So they were basically making their own 2D 16-bit style Sonic because Sega just wasn't doing a good job. And then they ended up hiring this guy, and he basically made Sonic Mania, which is a great game. I've finished it. It's such a good game, such a good platformer. And for me, it holds a special memory because it's the game I played the week my daughter came home from the hospital. So I was up late a lot, feeding her or waiting to feed her, just looking after her. And then while she slept, instead of sleeping like a smart person would do, I played Sonic Mania. Next up, Capcom Digital Collection. This is a really cool collection of all the Xbox Live Arcade Capcom digital titles on physical disc. So as you know, the trend seems to be that the stores or the digital storefronts, as they close, you lose access to the rights to these games. So if something were to happen to your console or your account, it's difficult to get your games back. And also for people who start collecting after these services are discontinued, they don't have access to purchase the games because they're not available anymore. So this one, the highlight for me on this one is the arcade port of Final Fight. Apparently it's a really good port of Final Fight on here. A few other great Capcom arcade titles. So really cool to get these in one digital collection, and they're yours forever instead of being at the mercy of the store staying open. Next one would be Digimon World 4. This looks like a really cool action RPG set in the Digimon universe. So I hadn't had this one in a long time. I actually looked up some gameplay of it, and it actually looks pretty cool. So I wanted to talk about that one quickly. And then we've got Spider-Man 2 on the PS2. This is one game I recommend to people a lot when they come in the store. Typically license or movie-based games, they kind of suck. They're usually rushed out. They have a very tight time budget because they have to hit the release of the movie. This game is almost like Grand Theft Auto, but you're Spider-Man. It's mission-based, it's open world, you can go through the city and you can take side missions, you can drive a taxi, you can deliver pizzas. So it's kind of like a really cool sandbox game to the scale of like what the Grand Theft Auto games were. And it was very well done, which was very rare for a movie tie-in at the time. Next up, Ninja Blade. So this is from Software. So everyone knows From Software from Elden Ring, Demon Souls, Dark Souls. So this is kind of like an action hack and slash that they did. A lot of the From Software games are becoming more popular now that people realize the pedigree behind them as a developer. Kind of an obscure exclusive for the 360. So thought I'd highlight that one. Next one, Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, which is a kind of an obscure 3D platformer game for the PS2. There were lots of like mascot style platformers. That's one I don't see often. It's pretty average to good. I think it gets like 6s and 7s on Metacritic. However, if you're a fan of platformers, if a game's a 6 or a 7, if you like the genre, it's probably like an 8 or a 9 for you. Don't get that one that often, so thought I'd highlight that one. We just got a couple of more here. So this one I found intriguing. A Way Out on the Xbox One. So it is a co-op only game. So basically you're two guys trying to escape. You actually have to play it with two players. It actually has this neat feature where if you have a system, you can actually invite someone online and they can play the game for free as long as you own a copy. So I thought that was pretty cool. If they're going to force you into the co-op, it's really neat that you don't both have to own the game if you want to play it online. So I thought that was kind of cool. And last one here, Dreamcast. Evil Dead Hail to the King. That's one we don't get often. And this is the one I think our regular Shane, who's been picking up a lot of Dreamcast, I think Shane's going to go for this one if he doesn't already have it. And then last but not least, I have a new game that I'm going to challenge Dave to sell at the next outdoor sale. Nancy Drew and the Tomb of the Lost Queen. So we had gotten some PC games with this collection. We don't typically take those in. However, we will if there's a collection. Dave, that's your challenge, buddy. You got to sell Nancy Drew.
Oh, God.
Good luck. As always, thanks to everyone who came in. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you from Dave and I. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. We're very thankful that we get to do this fun project on the side. It's really neat. Never in our wildest dreams did we think we'd be able to run a video game store while maintaining our full-time jobs as well. So my question to you guys is, what item in your collection are you the most thankful for? So it doesn't have to be like the most expensive thing, the rarest thing. Just what's one item on your shelf that you're just really thankful that you have. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.